Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of my Euro Truck Simulator career mode, or as I am calling this slightly mini series, Fixing My Mistakes. As I mentioned in the last episode, I headquartered on when I started this up in England, and that wasn't the best move that I could do. As all the content and everything migrated down to the mainland, every time I buy a piece of DLC, I get rerouted back to England, and I choose putting myself back to where I was by just doing quick travel. But my goal right now is to get the 180,000 that I need to buy my own garage to relocate down to Central Europe. I have about 45,000 now. I like to keep about 30 extra in the bank, so I'm really looking at just trying to now start grabbing another 180,000, accounting for stuff. So the job I'm doing right now is bringing some carbonated water from Nice, France, all the way to Malaga in Spain. And so let's get going. Okay, we are hooked up for what will be a 21-hour drive. I am going to need to rest before I get too far in this journey. I had actually hoped that I would be able to take care of some of that. Ooh, don't hit. Before I picked up the next load, but since I was right next to it, that didn't happen. Okay, we're gassed up and rested up. 20 hours to go. I'm going to talk a little bit about actually the platform I'm running the game on. I have a very old gaming PC it's the original Alienware Alpha with an i3 and an ancient video card, and it runs the game just fine. But the first time I did a video and it recorded OBS on it, it was very stuttery and slideshowy. Eventually I'm going to get a new gaming PC, but I have an M1 MacBook Air that I really like, and there's a Mac version. And so, yes, the previous video was recorded all on the Air, and I really enjoy it. I mean, I'm a Mac guy, and Macs and gaming should never really be used in the same sentence, but it runs the game just fine, and some of the other games that I'm playing as well, like Civ 6 and Final Fantasy 14, also run very good on just the base Air. My long-term concern and why I'm still ending up getting a gaming PC is the translation layer that Apple uses so that Intel-based apps, like pretty much every game, can run on the Air will eventually go away, as well as the fact that OBS on the Mac is fiddly. On the PC, it'll just grab the audio from the game fine. On the Mac, I had to create a custom output, mixing two outputs so that OBS would see it. But for now, I'm happily gaming on my Mac, and for the foreseeable future, all of the games that I will be putting on here will be running on the Mac, either through standalone apps, or I also use the GeForce Now service for some of the apps that will not run on a Mac at all. We're about 6 hours into our run, and well, this has gotten expensive. I got in the wrong lane going through the border crossing, hit two cars backing up, and then hit a third after I got through the border crossing. We're in Spain now, the latest DLC. So I took 2 years of Spain in high school, and it's definitely one of those languages that I wish that I had kept up with, because there have been frequent times that I wish that I had understood Spanish, where the person I'm trying to communicate with does not speak English well, and I do not speak Spanish well, and it would have been easier if I could have spoken their language as well. So I really wish the game knew that I was just
Turn right.
pulling off to get gas. So we're about 8 hours into our trip, and I'm already up over $2,000 in assorted fines from 4 car accidents and a headlight violation, which is something I usually try to avoid by having the lights on, but I must have hit the button twice and turned them off instead of hitting it twice and turning them on.
Keep
Like
left.
I said at the beginning, what I want to do is start relocating onto the mainland, and there's two timelines that I have for this. Is I want to get my garage on the mainland either before I buy my next DLC, which is something that's within my control, or before the next patch comes out, which is something that's not in my control, because once that gets updated, I'm going to get shoved back to England no matter what. I'm not going to be recording every one of these episodes as I grind my way up to this. Just a few that I do that are kind of interesting. I thought this one where I started, literally where I left off the last time, was fun. And my my goals for the channel are, for right now, I'm probably going to be focusing on the two truck simulators because that's what I like. But I don't want to become the sim channel. I think there's guys like Squirrel that do a much better job at this. But there's also other games that I play that are sort of in the non-action genre, like you guys mentioned earlier. I like to play Civ 6, and next month, Old World comes out on Steam, so I want to get that and stream me learning it, as well as getting some of the games like Humankind, and I have some of the Paradox Grand Strategy games. So that's some of the other content that may end up at the show. Hey! We are about 2/3 into our journey, and so far I'm really enjoying what I've seen from the Iberian DLC. The areas they look really nice, especially compared to some of the earlier areas in the game. And I'm thinking that as I work through grinding out grinding out the money for the garage, that I think I'm going to focus on trying to stay in this area as much as possible. Um, Maybe not do quite as many of the long hauls as I usually like to do. There's about 6 hours left in our trip, and that last fuel up and rest stop was a rousing success. I managed to get in, get gas, rest, and leave without hitting anybody or getting a light violation, so things are looking up. Alrighty, we are just about at our destination, rolling off the highway.
Exit. Right.
Looks like there's a few mystery boxes I might grab on my way by. Oof. Needed to take that one a little wider. Alright. Let's see
You
what
have
the end
arrived at your
challenge is.
destination. Your route guidance is now finished.
Can I get away with just sneaking it in there? I might. Now I'm gonna drive it over to Carbon. Hey, that one wasn't too horrible. Didn't actually hit anything doing it. Let's see what the damage is. That's not bad. Gets me up to level 13. Take another high value cargo. That brings me to 99, so I'm about halfway to where I want to get for the next to get my garage.